Alright, time to throw my hat in the ring on this topic. I've tried to stay quiet about this for the past few years, but with Wakanda Forever just about a month away, I want to finally speak my mind on the whole recast T'Challa conversation. Should they have done it? Should they have not? Is it more disrespectful to let the character die with Chadwick, or to let him live on without him? I made one video showing my respect to Chadwick Boseman, but I guess I never wanted to really talk about it on my channel again because I felt icky even discussing his death and what they should do about a silly movie so soon after. But it's been over 2 years, and Marvel has definitely touched the subject, so now it's my turn. And shout out to the YouTuber Chillmonger for inspiring this video. He's been at the forefront of the Recast T'Challa movement, and his many videos on the topic, combined with the multiple conversations I've had with him, have helped convince me of the right way to handle this situation. You should check out his link in the description. For the longest time, I personally felt that the morally right thing to do was to let T'Challa die with Chadwick Boseman. Yes, there have been many incarnations of the character in comics, TV, video games, and other media, but he was the one to bring him to life on the big screen and recontextualize Black Panther for the whole world to see. He brought such a charisma and edge to the character in Civil War. He was the first person of color to lead an MCU movie. His solo film made over $1 billion. It was a cultural phenomenon. It got people who don't even watch movies to go to the theater. The nation of Wakanda had a big part in the culmination of the 10-year cinematic journey, and he was at the forefront of all of that. I don't understand what it feels like to not see my skin color represented on the big screen, and I'll never understand it. But a lot of people did, and he was the man who fixed that for them. It was more than just a movie for some people, so it's hard to let go of that attachment and just give it to someone else. Feige and Ryan Coogler and his other castmates worked with him every day, ate lunch with him, hung out with him, had conversations with him, became friends with him, shared little precious moments with him. So I understand why they want to respect his death through the story. They couldn't imagine replacing him on set. And while it's a very selfish move, it's an understandable one. If they recast him, it would have felt like a disrespectful slap in the face to Chadwick Boseman, as if he's just expendable. But I've always said that no matter what I think, no matter what you think, no matter what anyone thinks, it shouldn't be the fans' decision, it shouldn't be the filmmakers' decision, and it shouldn't be Kevin Feige's decision as to what to do with the character. It should be his family's. Whatever Chadwick's family says, I'm cool with. They knew his mind inside and out, and I think they understood what he would have wanted to do with the character. If they ask for T'Challa to be put to rest, I'll respect that. If they tell him it's okay to recast, I'll respect that. Yes, we all collectively mourned when he passed away because he affected us in such a positive manner. But we didn't know him. He was just a fantasy to us. But his family did know him. He wasn't T'Challa to them. He was their son or brother or uncle. So what did they say about the situation? Well, I couldn't find any public comments on the matter by most of them, but his brother thinks that they should definitely recast T'Challa. He told TMZ that, quote, if Marvel Studios removes T'Challa, it would be at the expense of the audiences, especially black boys and men who saw themselves in him. That also includes the millions of fans who were inspired by the character as well. The number one way to kill a legend is to stop telling the story. And he later added that he believed from the conversations that they had that Chadwick would want the character to live on past him. So the only family member to have an opinion on it said, yes, please recast T'Challa. And there are many interviews out there where Chadwick himself said that the character is bigger than him. He didn't feel an ownership over King T'Challa. He openly talked about the impact the character had on young kids and how happy it made him to see them have an icon to look up to. He even deliberately hid his cancer diagnosis because he didn't want to have a pity party thrown for himself. So I'm not sure if he would enjoy the pity party Marvel is throwing in Wakanda Forever. The kind of person he was, it seems like he wouldn't like all of that attention and for the movie to be sold on his death. Yes, I do think that Marvel is trying to respect his legacy as much as possible, and they think they're doing the right thing, but they are kind of selling this movie on the emotion of his death. That first trailer hit so hard, not because of the interesting plot or inventive writing, It was because the face of Chadwick Boseman was plastered on a mural at his funeral. It hit us deep in our guts and elicited an uncontrollable emotional reaction. I think it took me so long to realize this because he's not one of my favorite comic characters. Maybe top 15 or 20, but he's not at the top of my list. I was sad to see him go, but it wasn't gonna destroy my world. But if Chris Evans had died after one solo movie and a couple of team-ups, I wouldn't want them to kill off Cap. You bet your ass I would want them to recast and keep showing me my favorite hero. Yes, he is Cap, but these characters are more than the actor that plays them. It would be weird to see another person play T'Challa, but isn't it better that people get to keep enjoying that character for another 10 years instead of giving the mantle to his little sister that no one cares about? We won't get to see him meet Storm. We won't get to see him join the Illuminati and interact with Mr. Fantastic. We don't get to see him fight Namor. If this was T'Challa versus Namor, this might have been my most anticipated movie of the entire phase. Letting him die kind of goes against everything Stan Lee stood for. He always said that these characters were culturally important and that they were bigger than you or me. They were representations of the good in the world. Anti-bigotry, pro-love, morally righteous, selfless, courageous heroes that taught us valuable messages. No matter your color or gender or sexuality, you could find something to love in Black Panther's stories. Whether it's watching him let go of vengeance and choose forgiveness before the anger destroys him, confronting his father about a mistake he made in the past that affected an innocent boy, opening up his borders to the world because he feels a moral obligation to build bridges instead of put up walls, or just defending Earth from an alien invasion. He was a pillar and a staple of the MCU for over 3 years, and now he's gone forever because of the selfish choices of a handful of people. Think about that. He was only there for about 3 years before his story abruptly ended. He deserved to have a 10-year arc at least, and be one of the main faces of the universe. Chillmonger was right when he said that T'Challa was edging his way into top 10 superhero territory, at least on the big screen, and probably top 20 in the comics. Black Panther has been more popular than ever, and you're finally getting the diversity you want by having a black hero be so recognizable and loved, standing shoulder to shoulder with Tony Stark and Steve Rogers. Then you just kill him off. Humans always make hasty and irrational choices when we're grieving and emotional. Why couldn't they have taken a step back, pushed the movie back a year, and really thought about what is the best path for this character? He got one movie, 3 side appearances, then he dies. I don't think that's the best path for the character. Producer Nate Moore even said that they didn't take their time making this decision. They only discussed it for a matter of minutes before coming to the conclusion of killing off the character. That's fucking ridiculous, and shows that they didn't even consider the fans or what anyone else thinks. They would be sad recasting, so they didn't do it. Why didn't they ask the fans what they wanted? Maybe put up a poll and gauge what the audience is thinking. Why was the solution so quick and concrete? Because they didn't care. But now they want you to care. What about past characters like Superman? Is only one person allowed to play him ever? Christopher Reeve was and always will be Superman to a lot of people, but they've recasted him over and over and over because Superman is an everlasting character. Yeah, it took 20 years to do it on the big screen, but why is that okay? Because it was 20 years later? Is there an arbitrary time that has to pass between recastings? Chris Reeve also died in real life. And just a year later, Brandon Routh was cast because they wanted to respect his legacy. They got someone that looked and acted like the legend to try and continue his story. It was respectful and came from a place of love. And while the movie wasn't great, his performance was. Why can't they do the same thing here? Chillmonger was right again. They are setting back meaningful diversity by laying T'Challa to rest. He's still in video games, he's still in comics, they still make toys out of him, but the one medium where he is the most popular and can reach the widest audience he doesn't exist anymore. If you want him to be an everlasting character like Superman, you have to continue his story. People will see this movie to honor his legacy, but after this, who's gonna care about Shuri as the Black Panther? When years pass and she shows up again, will we really care as much? Will the third movie be as successful if she has to hold it up on her own without the crutch of Chadwick's death? I will gladly watch T'Challa lead the charge to fight Kang in a multiversal war, but Shuri or someone else? Nah. I don't think they realize the financial or thematic ramifications that will stem from this choice in the upcoming years. Once again, I understand why they killed him off. I really do. But you want diversity? Keep him alive. You want a moneymaker? Keep him alive. You want a compelling character? Keep him alive. You want us to care about Black Panther movies? Keep him alive. You want to do justice to the comic books? Keep him alive. You want to respect the wishes of Chadwick's family? Keep him alive. You want to honor Chadwick's thoughts on the character? Keep him alive. While I can still understand the emotional angle of why they aren't recasting T'Challa, I've come to the conclusion that while it would be weird, I think they should recast him. Or at least they should have. Have him show up as a side character in another movie to kind of ease our minds into accepting the recast, then give him a full movie. It's not that complicated. Maybe it would have taken a few years, but emotional, nuanced topics sometimes take time to develop. I've sat back and analyzed every angle of this for a long time, and I'm pretty confident in my conclusion. I think if they would have actually taken some time to think about the story instead of trying to get the movie to come out when it was supposed to, they would have also realized the right thing to do. Maybe Kevin Feige didn't want to recast because he thought it felt scummy. Well, I think not taking the time to weigh your options because you didn't want to push the movie back and mess up your release schedule is kind of scummy. I'm still seeing this movie on opening weekend because it looks good and I'm interested to see how they handle the story. But there's definitely going to be an emptiness in there that no matter how hard they try, they won't be able to fill. And at the end of the day, Disney's getting my money, so they don't give a damn about what I have to say. I'm speaking with my wallet, and me purchasing a ticket is telling them that it's okay they didn't recast. So yeah, I'm kind of being a hypocrite here. But hey, what can I say? I want to see the movie. Alright, those are my thoughts. I definitely don't blame Ryan Coogler and the cast for wanting to honor the character this way. I just feel differently about it. And my opinion on this has fluctuated, so we'll see. Maybe the movie will handle it in an incredibly touching way and I'll be proven wrong. Let me know in the comments if you are for or against recasting T'Challa in the MCU. Let's have a juicy conversation, but respect each other's opinions. And until we meet again, my friends, peace out.